You can get it for free. I'm actually going to try to post it really fast. Let's see. Or not. Let's see. Paste. Okay. Let's see if it does it. Okay. So if you are just hopping on, you can head to believeit.com and you can, let's see, I'm trying to highlight it and tag it to the bottom. Let's see if it does it. Pin comment. There we go. Okay, so if you are just hopping on and you don't have this yet, you can head to believeit.com and you can download it there for free. So it's 95 pages and I wrote it all. It's really honestly, it's not about the book. It's really about you. It's, lessons from the book, but then how to implement them into your real life. And so you can grab that there at believeit.com. Also, if you go to believeit.com/audio, there is a free audio sample. It's an hour, 23 minutes from the book, if you want to check that out for free as well. And so we're going to be diving into a couple of those lessons. And I see comments already saying fear of rejection right here. Yep, I know you guys, right? I think, I started our first Monday Night Live with this idea of what would you do if you fully believed in you? And the question I want to kick off tonight with is, what would you do if you literally had no fear of rejection? Like, what would you do if you literally had no fear of rejection? And I think that this is a really big and important question. And when I look back over this journey of building It Cosmetics and of facing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rejections, I think that it would have been so easy, because they're almost always painful, but it would have been so easy to just dread rejection so much that I would have just talked myself out of my own truth. Or, given up, even though my gut said, keep going, you're supposed to be doing this. So we'll be talking about that in a minute. And I just want to say, a big, big, big celebration moment and a big thank you to each one of you. Believe It just made the New York Times list for the sixth week in a row, which is amazing. And I just want to say thank you. It's a huge victory for all of you. Thank you for spreading the word. By the way, if you guys want to invite your friends, that would be amazing. I know there's a lot of people right now who could use a boost of inspiration and a boost of joy and a boost of self-belief. And if you want to invite them to Monday nights, that would be amazing. You can even tag them in a comment right now and they'll see that you're on this and they'll hop in and join us. But definitely invite your friends to join Monday Night Motivation. Even if they haven't read the book or maybe they've never even heard of it, I think there are very few places out there right now where you could go and not be sold anything and just literally come together in community and talk about, things that boost joy and boost connection. So definitely invite your friends right now. I just want to say welcome. Thank you for being here. And as one more thing, we're going to do 7 different giveaways tonight live, but also on Instagram right now. One of my posts, it was, I think, one post ago on Instagram, we're doing a giveaway of 6 signed copies of Believe It to celebrate the 6 weeks in a row of Believe It, making it on the New York Times list because of you, because you guys are spreading the word. And I'm so grateful. Thank you for all your reviews as well. Reviews are a really, really big deal to authors. So a lot of you are like, how can I support you? And, I'm not selling anything, but if you ever do want to support me, I'd be so grateful by just writing an honest, authentic review wherever you grab the book from. A lot of you, that's Amazon, but wherever you picked it up from, just writing a review is huge. And then also just spreading the word and just sharing the word about Believe It. And really also anyone who wants a boost of motivation in their life, just letting them know about Monday Night Motivation. That would be amazing. Inviting your friends. So thank you so much for hopping on. And you can still enter the giveaway for the 6 signed books. There's nothing to do, actually. You just literally write a comment. 6 of you will get the signed book at random on Instagram, so you can check it out there. So tonight, we are going to dive into chapters 3 and 4 from Believe It. And if you have your study guide and you want to follow along, but if you don't, that's okay too. And so, here's this, really what I'm going to kick off with is chapter 3, which is this idea of what if your struggles, right, are actually your superpowers. And I know a lot of times we're in the middle of a struggle. It doesn't feel like a superpower. It feels like a huge setback that we do not want in our lives, right? It feels hard. It feels unfair. All those things. But it's interesting, for those of you that were part of my Becoming Unstoppable live event, you might remember this moment where I interviewed Robin Roberts and we were talking about what's the thing she's most proud of. And I thought it was going to be, one of her many awards, or becoming, the morning host of Good Morning America for so many years and brightening millions of people's days, or being in the Broadcast Hall of Fame. I thought she was going to list or share, one of her biggest achievements that was, I guess, something that on the outside looked like such a monumental victory. And she said that the things she is most proud of in her entire life are the things she's overcome. Like the things that fill her soul, that give her the most amount of pride, that make her just feel full, are the things she's overcome, right? And I think this is a really interesting perspective, that so many people feel lost and they feel like, oh, I don't know what my purpose is, or how to find my purpose. And a lot of times people get confused and think their purpose needs to be their job, right? Or their purpose needs to, like, oh, I'm just not happy in my job. This isn't my purpose. And then they try to find it in another job. So I want to talk about that a little bit, because this idea, right? What if your struggle is actually your superpower? There are ways to find a deep, purposeful meaning in our life that actually might not have anything to do with our job, right? Another thing Robin Roberts says is make your mess your message. So I want to talk about this idea of our struggles, of owning the things that we've gone through, and of really maybe shifting our mindset around them to think about, wow, is this struggle that I went through actually one of my superpowers that's going to lead to part of my purpose on this earth, that's going to lead to part of me filling my soul? And is it actually going to be one of my superpowers in my life? Even if it wasn't fun to go through, even if it wasn't fair, even if it was hard, right? So I want to talk about that idea. And if you're following in the action plan right now, so we're going to go to page 19 and 20. And, this is something that you can do. And again, I talked about this in week 1 if you joined us. But, this action plan is really a study guide for you. And while we go live, I'm going to try to keep these lives to under 30 minutes, right around 30 minutes. So I'm not going to go into them for hours, because I could talk about each one of these pages for hours. But this is really a work I did for you guys for free, to really do the work on your own. And, I just want to kick this off by sharing page 19, something to think about tonight, which is that, I've learned where you come from matters less than what you're made of. And superpowers are the parts of your story, your journey, that were your unique struggles that you went through. There are times that caused you pain, the times you want to forget, that have now become your story of triumph and endurance. They become part of your greater purpose in life, to yourself and to others. And this is really a space here to set aside time to do some work. And you can do this, by the way, if you just want to grab a piece of paper on your own time. One thing I want to encourage you to do is really reflect on some of the struggles that you've gone through. And how can those struggles actually turn into superpowers in your life? How can they actually become part of your greater purpose, right? And again, and I share this before, and I talk a lot about this in the book, that a lot of times people think, oh, I don't know my purpose. How do I find my purpose? And they keep looking for it in jobs or careers. And listen, you could definitely find a purposeful career. You definitely can fill your soul with your job. But I don't think that your purpose has to be your job. And this might be a big aha moment that maybe someone needs to hear today. I think your job can be what pays the bills. It can be what puts food on the table. You can find your purpose and the purposes in your life in other ways too. And I think that a lot of people, including Robin Roberts, right, who shared this with us live at the event, realize, oh, wow, the things I've overcome, those are the things you have scars that tell your stories. Those are the things that you realize are setting you up to then do something out of that struggle that fills your soul, right? That's bigger than yourself. That's part of your purpose or your calling on this earth. And I talk in Believe It about, how, a lot of us have had the same situation where we have like family secrets, or the rug is pulled out from underneath us, or things that happened that weren't fair. And I talk in chapter 3 about, how I found out in my late 20s I was adopted by complete surprise. And it went on this multi-year journey of like, who am I? And it was really a search for my own identity. And, when I came out of it, still going through it a little bit, but what that sort of struggle turned into was, in my journey of building It Cosmetics, I really, on a foundational level, understood all of us are on a journey of learning who we are and stepping into all of who we are. And I was able to, create a company that understood that at a foundational level and had that part of our mission statement and had it part of every touch point with customers. And I think that the way we see our struggles can be everything. So to do a really quick reading just of one paragraph from Believe It, and this is on page 64. And I just want to share this with you because I think that this is a really exciting idea when we're able to embrace it, because every one of us has struggles in our life. And a lot of times we're embarrassed about them or ashamed of them, or we want to hide them, or we think it's a source of pain that we want to forget, or, whatever it might be, when actually it can be a pathway to doing something greater than ourselves. It's more purposeful, that fills our soul. So page 64, this is after I met my birth mom and she met the mom who raised me. I talk about, I learned that where you come from matters less than what you're made of. Pay attention to your struggles, as they can become your superpower. They're often the parts of your story we want to erase or forget because they're painful. But when you consider them as moments you've been strong enough to experience and endure and triumphantly emerge from, they can also become part of your greater purpose in life and part of your highest expression of what you have to give others while you're here. Okay, this is huge. This is huge. I just want to read that part one more time because I hear from so many of you, how do I find my purpose? How do I find my calling? Like, I'm not happy where I'm at. I'm not getting it from my job. I'm not getting it from my partner. I'm not, right? All these things. This is just a new idea I really, really want you to think of, right? And this really, only you know the answer, and only you can put in the time to really think about some of the struggles and the hardships you've gone through. But I'm just going to read this part again. When you consider them moments you've been strong enough to experience and endure and triumphantly emerge from, they can also become part of your greater purpose in life and part of your highest expression of what you have to give others while you're here. Right? When we do something bigger than ourselves, that's really when we feel fulfilled. That's really when it all comes down to. Believe in the power of embracing your story, including the messy parts that ultimately can make it even more beautiful, and believe in loving others on their own journey to do the same. So chapter 3, just want to encourage you, again, we're just going through kind of top line here, but really want you to encourage you to go through and really take as much time as you want. And this is one thing I say a lot, you guys, because for those of you that love personal development and you love watching events and hearing amazing speakers talk, and then, afterwards you take all these great notes and then you forget everything, right? I've done that a million times. We've all done that. I believe, and I learned from so many incredible people in my life. If you've read Believe It, you'll know some of my mentors that I've now had the blessing of meeting in real life and developing friendships with, and people that I just watched from afar for years. But I still believe this to be true. I believe you are your own greatest teacher. I believe each one of us are our own greatest teacher. I think we can all learn from each other, rise higher together. But why I put this together, why I really want to encourage you, however much time you have, and maybe it's 5 minutes, and maybe it's 5 hours, and maybe it's a few days every week, but to really deep dive into here, because this is a book that's all about for you. So this page 20 talks about, how does shifting your struggles to your superpowers change your perspective and give you a greater sense of your purpose. So this is just going through some questions on how to do that and kind of how to process everything. So really want to encourage you to do that. And I also just want to say we're about to hop into chapter 4 and then do some giveaways. And if you're just hopping on, this is Monday Night Motivation. Welcome. You guys have been sharing where you're coming in from, and it is all over the world. All over the world. I know some of you saying you're getting up at 2 a.m. to be part of this live. I just want to say thank you. We are live on 3 different Facebook platforms as well as Instagram right now. So thousands of you joining from week 1, and now we're in week 2 of Monday Night Motivation, and just want to say thank you so much. Okay, chapter 4, and this is a big one for so many of us, is rejection, right? So many of us literally hold ourselves back because we are afraid of rejection. We're afraid that deep down inside we're not enough. We're afraid that we won't be loved and accepted and celebrated and all those things, and we let the fear of rejection talk us out of our own truth, right? And if you're feeling brave, I just want to encourage you to share in the comments. I know, right now we have 3 Facebook groups on here live, and including the Becoming Unstoppable Facebook group, which, by the way, if you guys were part of the event, the Becoming Unstoppable event, there's a Facebook group. If you just type in Kern Lima on Facebook, anyone can join. You guys are all welcome to join if you're not part of it yet. But we just go there in that group. We go there and share all the things, and it's such a loving and supporting community, as is Instagram as well. And so I just want to encourage you guys, to type in the comments right now and just share, what is your relationship with rejection been? Are you someone who is afraid of rejection? Are you someone who holds yourself back because you're afraid that you won't be accepted, that you're going to hear no, that someone won't believe in your idea, right? Type in the comments your relationship with rejection, and also what you hope to change about it. Because what I want to say and talk about now in chapter 4, and then really just give you some homework to think about, is your relationship with rejection can change your entire life. I believe this. I believe that this is true with your career. I believe it's true with what you have to offer and create and ideate and what you express of yourself to the world. I believe it's true with interpersonal friendships and relationships. The fear of rejection holds so many of us back from ever actually stepping into all of who we are, right? And I just want to throw this out there. What if your fear of rejection literally prevents you from ever being the person you're born to be? I know it's supposed to be Monday Night Motivation, not Monday Night Downer, but I want you to think about this for a minute, because I believe, you guys, that this is life-changing. I believe if you can shift your perspective on rejection, I believe if you can learn to actually see rejection as just something that comes with trying and something that comes with your path and your journey of becoming who you're born to be, that is life-changing. When I look back at It Cosmetics, and for those of you who have read Believe It or at least through the first chapter or 2, you'll see it was literally 3 years of hundreds and hundreds of rejections, right? Of people telling me everything from, you're not the right fit, we don't think we'll make money off of you, we don't believe in your vision, you're not this enough, that enough, right? On and on and on and on. There were so many times where I wanted to quit, so many times where I wanted to give up. Every time I got rejected, it hurt. It was painful. But every time I would get still, right? And there's so many things I did wrong that I share and Believe It also. But one of the things I did right was I learned to get still and to hear my own truth and to trust it, right? And believe, okay, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing this. I feel like I'm supposed to be on this track. I'm going to trust myself. And I'm just going to fearlessly, the best way I know how, embrace rejection. I'm not going to let other people's doubts about me or my dream turn into doubt in my own head. And when we make that decision, our whole life changes, right? If I could have one prayer or hope or wish for every one of you right now who's part of this live with me, and especially every woman, is that you would change your relationship with rejection and literally just see it as like, all right, bring it. Oh, another rejection, it's all good. Because you know what? I'm the one trying. I'm the one going. I'm the one creating and ideating, right? I mean, you guys, right? If you really think about just about everyone who has ever written a book or painted a painting or gone after their dream or you name it, they have faced so many rejections. But most people, out of fear of that, never try. One of my really good friends, Brendan Burchard, always says, you're not afraid of trying, you're afraid of other people seeing you start small. Or, you know what I mean? It's like so many of us are afraid of all these things, so we don't go after it. And my prayer, my hope is if you can shift your perspective on rejection, watch what happens in your entire life, right? For someone in the dating world who shifts their perspective on rejection, huge, huge, right? But this applies to everything. Maybe you're someone who's wanted to launch your own podcast or wanted to start doing lives, but you're like, oh, but only 2 people will show up, if that, right? Who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Like everything ever created in this world that matters, that's lasted, that's impacted other people, was created by someone just like you and me. Everything, right? And everyone brave enough to endure rejection, like that's part of the journey. That's part of the path. So I feel like if we can see rejection, right? Of course it hurts. Of course it's painful. And especially when it feels personal, right? But if we can shift our perspective and just embrace it and get resilient as we approach rejection, imagine what we could do, right? So my big question tonight for everyone, and I'm going to dive into a couple of these and we're going to do 7 giveaways, is what would you do if you literally had no fear of rejection? And is it worth it to you in your life to change your mindset around this idea of rejection and just see it as coming with the territory of someone who's going after their dreams, coming with the territory of someone who is stepping into all of who they are? Rejection is just something that comes with the territory, even if it's over and over and over, of someone who's actually going to be one of those people that becomes the person they're born to be. When we change our mindset about rejection, we change our entire lives. Literally, my middle name could be Rejection or No, one or the other. literally, right? And it's like part of why I wrote Believe It is because so many people would just email me or they DM me and say like, oh, congratulations, did you get lucky or this or that or whatever. They read the story somewhere that, I went from Denny's waitress to billion-dollar entrepreneur, and they're like, oh, are you just super smart? Did you just get lucky? I'm like, no, I learned how to trust myself, and I learned how to get back up every time I got knocked down. I learned how to not let rejection define me, to not let other people's doubts about me or my dream turn into doubt in my own head. So my big hope and prayer tonight and big thought I want you to think about as you go into this week is, what is your own perspective on rejection, and how would your life change if you shifted it? Okay, so chapter 4, and I'm just going to go through this pretty quickly because I want to keep these lives to around 30 minutes or so. But chapter 4, I really want you, if you have the time, this is free on BelieveIt.com. A lot of you are just hopping on. We have a couple over 1,000. Let me see. We have three Facebook communities live and Instagram live. Lots of y'all are live from all over. Welcome to Monday Night Motivation. But this is a free 95-page action plan on BelieveIt.com. And I really wrote this for you guys. A lot of times you see authors will sell the study guide on Amazon. I just wanted everyone to get as many lessons as they can out of the book. But even if you haven't read Believe It yet or whatever, I really encourage you to do some of the work in here, because it's life-changing when we shift our perspective on a lot of these topics. And chapter 4 is all about, the idea that how to believe you're stronger than your opposition. And I talk in this book a lot I talk about a journey I went through with Mean Girls and and how shocking that was. And I talk about overcoming self-doubt, and I talk about learning that none of us are here to compete with anyone else. We're literally just here to compete with the person we know we're born capable of becoming. And I believe for you, for me, to ever become the person we know we're born capable of becoming, we got to get really used to rejection, and we got to get resilient about it, right? And I think that that's so huge. So I just want to encourage you to go through these pages here in the book. And on page 24, I talk about the idea that sometimes no's are actually serendipitous grace wrapped in a package labeled painful rejection, right? Here's the thing. Right now, at this moment in time, I still get rejected every day, by the way, y'all. Every day in various ways, right? I see rejection. I have a different relationship with rejection right now, and I'm going to share it, and I'm going to talk about a chapter in here. But it really comes down to this. Your perception of rejection, right? There's a very famous saying that rejection is God's protection. Some people say rejection is the universe's protection, right? Or rejection's protection. And I think that this is a really, really freeing way to see rejection. I think it helps us also become a little bit more fearless of rejection. And here's what I want to share about that. Like, here's a real life example, okay? I remember 2 years into IT Cosmetics, we were down to almost no money, and I didn't know how we were going to make it. We got a big call from a potential investor, and he loved our product. And I thought, oh my gosh, if they invest in us, they're going to use all their power to get us into these stores that keep telling me no. And if they invest in us, we're not going to go bankrupt and all these things, right? And this was a really, really well-known private equity company. And we started doing meeting after meeting after meeting. And I thought it was going to be a yes. And it got down to the final meeting, and my husband, Paulo, and I flew up for this meeting. And we were standing in person with the head guy. I was about 3 feet from him in person. And I was like, I'm so excited. And he said, we want to congratulate you. We really believe in your product, but we've decided it's a no. We're going to pass on investing in IT Cosmetics. And I'm about 3 feet from him in person. And, I had heard no so many times, you guys, by this point, and it hurt, obviously. But I said, okay, can you tell me why? Because feedback's usually a gift, right? And I said, can you tell me why? And I'll never forget, he literally just paused. And he goes, do you want me to be really honest with you? I was like, yes, please. And he says, I just don't think women will buy makeup from someone who looks like you with your body and your weight. And I remember in that moment, well, first of all, a lifetime of body doubt and self-doubt flooded my body all at once. And it felt like I was staring my own fear straight in the eye. I remember his mouth moving, he's literally 3 feet from me. But when he says this to me, I just don't think women will buy makeup from someone who looks like you with your body and your weight. I'll never forget, you guys, I got this deep feeling in my gut, this feeling deep down inside that said, he's wrong. It was just a knowing. It was this deep feeling. Yet at the time, I had no sales. I had no proof of success. But I remember that feeling. He's wrong. I went in the car and cried my eyes out. All those things. Now, fast forward 6 years, okay? Fast forward 6 years. The day that L'Oreal bought IT Cosmetics, it was all over the press. It was the homepage of the Wall Street Journal because they're a public company. So it was L'Oreal buys company in $1 billion deal, right? So that day, it had been 6 years since I had heard from that investor. That day, I heard from that investor. And he said, congratulations, I'm so happy for you. I was wrong. And I learned a couple things. I learned it would have been, had he invested, it would have been the most successful investment in his company's history. But here's the other thing, you guys. At the time this happened, at the time he says to me, I just don't think women will buy makeup from someone who looks like you with your body and your weight. I was so desperate. We had no money. Everyone was telling us no. We barely had any sales. I was so desperate. I probably would have given him the majority of the company for almost no money, just hoping he helped us stay alive. But because he rejected me, because he didn't believe in me, by the time we did sell to L'Oreal, by the time we were acquired, we were still the largest shareholders, right? And it's oh my gosh, I remember having this moment, like, thank God he didn't believe in me. Thank God for that rejection, right? And that's an extreme example of how rejection is God's protection. Rejection is protection. Rejection is the universe's protection. I'll never be here to tell you what to believe, but I'm always happy to share what I believe with you. But I believe that. And here's the thing that I just want you to keep in mind with rejection, okay? Because when we're in rejection, when we're in the moment, it doesn't feel so good. It usually doesn't make any sense. Often it feels unfair. It can feel personal. It's so easy to let rejection, like literally start to equate to self-doubt in our own head. But some of the tools I talk about, and I talk about a lot of them in Believe It, is just your relationship with rejection. And if you can flip it and go, okay, this sucks, but I am going to choose to believe right now that rejection is God's protection. I'm just going to believe it, even though this sucks. Even though this person I was in love with just left me. Even though this friend I've been friends with for 20 years all of a sudden doesn't want to be friends or betrayed my trust, or whatever it might be, right? We all go through these things. These forms of rejection happen in our lives all the time. And when we shift our perspective and think, oh, rejection is protection. Rejection is God's protection, right? I feel like when I look at all of the rejections, literally almost all the rejections that have happened to me, I can say that. And sometimes you can't say it for a year or 2 years, right? In this case of this investor, it was 6 years before I realized, wow, rejection is God's protection. Like, thank God he rejected me, right? It was 6 years before I realized. Sometimes we may never, ever see it just that obvious right in front of us, right? Sometimes a friend betrays us, or we put our idea out there. We sent our manuscript to the publisher. We put this quote we created on social media and no one liked it. like rejection feels like rejection comes in all these forms. And sometimes we don't see why. But just this mindset shift alone, I'm going to choose to believe rejection is God's protection. What it does is it helps us more fearlessly go after stuff. It helps us more fearlessly put our work out there, our ideas out there, our heart out there to a friend or to a partner, right? It helps us more fearlessly go after things. And that is the victory. The victory is not if we didn't get rejected or if we did. The victory is, are we becoming the person we're born to be, or are we talking ourselves out of it and holding ourselves back, right? The victory is when we step into the person we're born to be. So not sure who needs to hear that tonight, but rejection is God's protection. And the other idea, which is really in the same vein, and I go really deep into this in Believe It, is, I talk about the years of rejection from QVC and how I eventually got the head guy, Alan Burke, on a phone call, and he said it's a no. And when we eventually got a shot on QVC and started growing and growing and growing, Alan Burke, who had said no for so many years, who I cried myself to sleep over so many times, eventually ended up becoming one of my greatest mentors in my life and my dear friends. And he was the head of the whole beauty empire at QVC. And, years later, when he retired from QVC, he actually joined at Cosmetics in our advisory board in a paid position. And I had this moment where I realized, oh my goodness, the man who rejected me is now working for me, right? Which is like, oh my gosh, but more than that, you guys, I'd realized all the years he had told me no and that we weren't the right fit for QVC, he was right. And here's what I mean by that. I didn't know it at the time. I cried myself to sleep at the time when I kept getting no after no after no. But when we finally launched on QVC and when we were finally able to grow our business, I realized, oh wow, all those years we were told no. If we would have gotten a yes back then, we would have failed because we weren't operationally sophisticated enough to carry the weight of an account that large. We would have failed miserably and never became the company that It Cosmetics became. I didn't know it at the time. I don't even think he knew that at the time. He was just rejecting us, but he was right to do it. And it was like, wow. And I talk about this idea in Believe It, and just to talk about it again tonight is that sometimes these no's, right? They feel like painful rejection, but they're actually serendipitous grace. They're actually serendipitous grace. And between that mindset shift and this idea that rejection is God's protection, I think there are two tools to put in your toolbox on how to become more fearless when it comes to rejection, right? And to really just start to embrace it as something that comes with the territory of someone who's decided they're going to become the person they're born to be. So, with that said, I love you guys. Happy Monday Night Motivation. Let's do some really fun giveaways. We're going to do 7 giveaways. And let's see. All you need to do to qualify is just type right in the comments right here on Instagram and also on Facebook. So there are a few thousand of you last week, this week on 3 different Facebook platforms and on Instagram. We're going to pick winners from both Instagram and Facebook tonight. And I just want you to type in the comments 2 options. Either tag someone who you want to invite to Monday Night Motivation. Tag someone who you is a friend, who you think could use a boost of inspiration, or maybe someone who you think you believe in, but maybe they need a boost of belief in themselves. Tag someone in the comments. And then the other option, just to enter real fast, is just to type in, what would you do if you weren't afraid of rejection? What would you do right now differently if you literally had 0 fear of rejection? So type in the comments, and the Believe It book team is going to pick 7 of you right now. And here's what we're going to give away. So, okay, this is fun tonight. Lots of fun stuff. So one of the first things is Confidence in a Cream. It Cosmetics #1. It's actually the #1 moisturizer in the country. How wild is that? So it's called Confidence in a Cream, and it is $48. So $48, but we're going to give away 5 of those right now for free. Just for fun. And by the way, we're going to do 7 giveaways. We're also going to give away a $50 Target gift card. How many of you guys have seen Believe It in Target? If you have seen Believe It in Target, and you're in Target, tell someone there to buy it. Like, this is a good book. When I saw Believe It in Target, I literally cried. I know some of you saw that. We did a live video from Target, and I just literally sat on the floor. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I was sitting there crying in Target. And Leah Key, if you guys know Leah Valencia Key, she was with me. And she just decided to get on the floor with me. We just sat there. I was just so overwhelmed. Because it was real. It's a very, very surreal thing. But anyhow, a $50 Target gift card we're going to give away. Also, we're going to give away a $250 package of It Cosmetics. So 7 winners for both Instagram and Facebook. So just type in the comments, what would you do if you literally were not afraid of rejection at all? Maybe you'd be like, I'm going to go online and start dating. Maybe you'd be like, I'm going to start painting again. Or I'm going to tell the friend they hurt my feelings. And if they want to keep being friends, I want them to treat me with the same kindness and grace and love and respect as I treat them, right? If you weren't afraid of rejection, what would you do? Type in the comments, or you can just tag someone who you think would love Monday Night Motivation or the Believe It book. So we're going to pick those in a second. And I just want to say that I'm super grateful for each one of you. You know, we did this live event, and for those of you that were part of it, it was called Becoming Unstoppable. And there was 217,000 people that joined it live. It was this big free event. And when the event was over, we launched the Believe It book. And then now I hear from so many of you over the past several weeks, like, okay, now what? Now what? And I'm like, well, and everyone just kind of missed the idea of like, well, what if we come together and can you do an event like that every week? I'm like, do y'all know how much, literally the number of months and hours that went into that event? It was so much. And I was like, I don't think I could do that every week, but you know what? Maybe we do this and we come together and just talk live and connect. So thank you guys for your ideas and for wanting to do this. If you're on Instagram live right now or some of the Facebook platforms that we're live right now, I also want to encourage you to join the other. And what I mean by that is if you're on Facebook right now and you go to my Instagram, which is Jamie Kern Lima, we're doing a big giveaway of 6 signed books from Believe It making the New York Times list. So that will be yesterday's post. You can still enter and the winners will be announced tomorrow morning, just typed right in there. And then if you're on Instagram live right now and you head over to Facebook, if you just type in Jamie Kern Lima, we have a group called Becoming Unstoppable. And it's a really special group. We have the Believe It book team that helped launch the book into the world. So special. And these are really amazing groups where we just go in and we share all the things. And if you're looking for a community where you feel uplifted and supported and you're around like-minded people, right? Because not all of us have that in our family or with our partner. And this is just a safe space where you can come and it's just filled with all positivity. So definitely want to encourage everyone on Instagram to check out the Becoming Unstoppable group over on Facebook. You just type in Jamie Kern Lima and you'll find it. Okay, I'm about to announce the winners. Here's the deal. Email, if you win, if I announce you as a winner, please send an email to contact@believeit.com. So contact@believeit.com. You just put in the message in the subject, I won. And then the Believe It book team is going to get you your prize in the mail right away. But definitely please email contact@believeit.com. And by the way, before I forget, there were a couple people in the Facebook group today that were saying from the VIP, they were VIPs at the Becoming Unstoppable event and they didn't get their book in the mail. So we had, I don't know how many thousands and thousands of people that were part of VIP, which was so awesome. But a couple people didn't get their book. They were all the books were shipped out and a couple people didn't get them. If you didn't get your book, please also email contact@believeit.com. Because every single person should have their book by now. And if you didn't, we're going to fix that right away. So contact@believeit.com. Okay, so if you win right now, contact@believeit.com. I'm going to grab the list of winners. Okay, so first up, a winner of Confidence in a Cream. We have Gail Andrews. Gail Andrews. Just won Confidence in a Cream. It looks like Gail Andrews is on one of the Facebook platforms right now. Then we have also a winner of Confidence in a Cream at Jill's Closet 555 on Instagram. At Jill's Closet 555 on Instagram. Confidence in a Cream winner. Okay, we have 5 more winners to get to. If you win, email contact@believeit.com. We did this last week on Monday night. Everyone emailed, everyone got their prizes shipped out. It worked so seamlessly. So make sure you email contact@believeit.com. Okay. $50 Target gift card goes to, this is on Facebook, Joni Flynn. Joni Flynn, winner of a $50 Target gift card. And now we have a Confidence in a Cream going to @mleone11 on Instagram, @mleone11. So @mleone11 on Instagram, winner of Confidence in a Cream. Okay, we have another winner of Confidence, which is Claudia Oval Forlenza. Claudia Ovale Forlenza. Another winner of Confidence in a Cream @Robin Meisner Johnson. @Robin Meisner Johnson. And then we have the winner of $250 IT Cosmetics gift basket, Sharon Sullivan Ellis. Sharon Sullivan Ellis. Those were picked at random by the Believe It book team live tonight. So if you are a winner of one of those prizes, send an email to contact@believeit.com. And then just a reminder, we have a big giveaway also on the Instagram page right now. So, okay, big homework for this week is to really, really deep dive into your purpose and into, is there a struggle or something you've overcome in your life that actually is part of your purpose, as part of the highest expression you're here on this earth to use to share or impact or inspire others through? Is a struggle that you've gone through one of your superpowers? Is it part of your purpose? and to really kind of do some work around thinking that through. And then also this idea on rejection and your relationship with rejection, and what would you do differently if you were able to embrace rejection as part of something that comes to the territory of becoming the person you're born to be. And what if every time it happens, yeah, it hurts. I'm not saying don't feel it. I still feel it every time, you guys. I still get my feelings hurt. Like literally, I have friends that hurt my feelings probably once a week. It still always hurts. Rejection still always hurts. But when we shift our perspective around it, right? As rejection is God's protection, or, this rejection's really this painful no, but it's actually serendipitous grace, right? We start to build tools into our lives that shift our perspective and our ability to embrace rejection, and to really do some deep thought on, if you change your relationship with rejection, what would you do differently? So, fun thoughts and homework for the week. I'm going to see you guys back here next Monday for Monday Night Live Motivation. Again, we're going to be doing special guests, and on some of the weeks, lots of giveaways and talking through these lessons from Believe It. So if you also have any feedback on Monday Night Motivation, I'd love to hear it. I want this to be a space that's your space and your night, that we all come together and do this live. And just want to say thank you guys so much, and I love you, and I will see you back here next Monday.